All right, let's dive into the story of one of the greatest dynasties in all of sports and the man who was its chief architect, the legendary Australian cricket captain, Ricky Ponting. Back in the late 90s and through the 2000s, the Australian cricket team, they were more than just a good team, they were a force of nature. They didn't just win, they absolutely dominated. They built this aura of invincibility that honestly probably beat teams before the first ball was even bowled.
So who was the guy at the heart of this incredible machine? Who was the one that took a team already full of legends and somehow pushed them to be even greater? Well, that's exactly the question we're going to answer.
This quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. You see, cricket has its artists, its technicians, but Ricky Ponting, he was the living embodiment of pure, unfiltered dominance. So how did he do it? Well, the polished, world-beating captain that we all remember didn't just appear out of thin air. His story starts with a fiery, incredibly talented, but yes, sometimes reckless young player from Tasmania. Right from a young age, you could see all the raw ingredients were there. He was fiercely competitive, had these lightning-fast reflexes, and a signature aggressive pull shot that just terrified fast bowlers. But his early career was also kind of marked by a hot temper and a bit of inconsistency. Challenges he was definitely going to have to figure out. His journey from just raw talent to this matured leader, it wasn't just about getting older. It was about learning to channel that fire. The emotional player, he became fearless. The reckless one, he became strategic. And that immense potential was forged into sustained, world-class excellence. So how did that transformation actually happen? Let's take a look at the turning point where Ponting really started to build the foundation for his legacy. The year is 1999. This right here was the moment everything started to click. During Australia's dramatic World Cup victory, Ponting wasn't just another player. He played a key role. It was on this huge global stage that his ability to perform under the most intense pressure really started to shine. So a few years later, he gets handed the captaincy. But think about this. This wasn't just any team. He inherited a squad of absolute icons. We're talking legends of the game like Shane Warne, Glenn McGrath, Adam Gilchrist. The pressure to lead a team that was already considered one of the best ever, it was just immense. And this is where the story gets pretty incredible. Ponting didn't just maintain the team's success, he elevated it. He constructed one of the most dominant winning machines in the entire history of sports. I mean, just look at this timeline. It shows you how immediate and just how relentless their success was. He takes over in 2002 and bam, he leads them to World Cup glory in 2003. And then he does it again in 2007, securing back-to-back titles. And if you need one single moment that defines his leadership, it's got to be the 2003 World Cup final. Facing India on the biggest stage, he plays one of the greatest innings in World Cup history, a blistering 140 not out. It was ruthless, it was precise, and it was the perfect example of his whole philosophy, lead from the absolute front. And his personal contribution? It was massive. Ponting wasn't just a captain who told people what to do. He was a run-scoring machine. The entire foundation of his authority was his own performance, starting with a staggering 71 international centuries. And in Test cricket, the longest and most demanding format of the game, he was a pillar of consistency, piling up over 13,000 runs through sheer grit and class. Then in the faster-paced one-day games, he did it again, another 13,000 plus. This relentless scoring, it didn't just win games, it set the standard. It was him telling every single player in his team, follow me, this is the level we operate at. So what was his leadership style really like? Well, it was the engine of the whole team's identity. He was assertive and confident on the field, setting aggressive fields, always backing his bowlers. He was uncompromising with standards. He demanded excellence in practice just as much as he did in a match. And above all else, the man was relentlessly competitive. He just hated losing. This created an intimidating aura for sure, but it also commanded total respect. But, every dynasty eventually has to face its sunset. And in the final phase of his career, we really see how Ponting handled the team's decline and how his influence continues to shape the game even today. You see, his legacy is so much more than just trophies and statistics. When the team started to lose and the criticism mounted, he showed incredible resilience. He adapted his own game, And then, after he retired, he became this highly respected coach and commentator, passing all that knowledge on to the next generation. And this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. Ponting's style, it was built on this uncompromising, assertive foundation that demanded nothing less than total victory. So in today's sporting world, is that kind of leadership still the blueprint for building a dynasty? Something to think about.